Making sure a night out downtown doesn't end in disaster. The new guardians of Broadway, plus punished for passing out free water.
If we can't do that, we're going to have some really ill people, and we may have some deaths.
Why one group of volunteers helping the homeless now needs a permit, and a principal under fire lands a new job on the state level. Why parents of a special needs student are sounding the alarm. Fox 17 News at 9 starts now.
Middle Tennessee's only primetime news. This is Fox 17 News at 9, your Code Red station.
Continuing coverage now on a story we've been following for months. Free water, charging stations, and more, along with a helping hand for the downtown party crowd. The group Red Frogs will now be in Nashville full-time. Good evening, everybody. I'm Scott Couch. Megan is off tonight. This partnership comes after college student Riley Strain and another woman in town for a good time ended up in the Cumberland River. He drowned. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller's now live downtown after speaking with city leaders about why this effort is so important.
Yes, well, Metro just approved for the Red Frogs to be stationed downtown starting this Friday. Now, they will be stationed right on the corner of 2nd and Broadway behind me next to the Chiefs Bar. We spoke with Metro Councilman Jacob Coupin, who represents this district, and he says that this program has already proven to be a success after they were here for both CMA Fest and the 4th of July downtown.
Do you guys want water or sunscreen?
You may have seen this Red Frog station downtown this summer. Now you'll see them every Friday night on the corner of 2nd Avenue and Broadway, right next to Chiefs Bar.
We've seen it work, we've seen proof in concept, and I'm excited to see it expand.
The nonprofit has been around for almost 27 years. Red Frog's national director, Dan Terry, says they offer a chill zone where people can drink water, charge their phones, or have someone walk them to their car or the place they're staying.
So we always say we're the fence at the top of the cliff, not the ambulance at the bottom. Our whole idea of what we do is to be early intervention.
Especially after what we've seen happening with the tragic death of Riley Strain after a night out of drinking and the woman found the next morning along the Cumberland River after being on Broadway.
Hopefully we'll never need to see those stories, those tragic stories that we've seen in the past year or so take place in Nashville ever again, because now we're able to be a support and help people really when they need it.
So how much will this program cost taxpayers? Coupin says since it's a nonprofit, this will not cost taxpayers a penny. And even better, they've seen this concept prove itself. Now, Red Frogs will be up and running starting this Friday right behind me again on the corner of 2nd Avenue and Broadway. Their goal moving forward over the next several months is to be here throughout the weekend and for big events happening in Music City. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Caitlin, thank you. Tonight in Crisis in the Classroom, a McGallick High School senior is facing criminal charges after bringing a stolen gun onto school property. Metro Police got involved after they say a school leader caught the 17-year-old student with a vape pen. Officers then found a stolen gun, ammo, almost 80 grams of marijuana, and a scale in that teenager's car. That boy right now is being charged as a juvenile. Update now on a story we've been on for a couple of weeks, paying for a quicker commute. Choice lanes, a proposal by the state to reduce congestion on Interstate 24 between Nashville and the borough, will charge drivers to use these specialty lanes. The question is how much? Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar live on Interstate 24 tonight with what drivers in a neighboring state are paying.
A stretch of I-24 is supposed to have the most traffic in the mid-state. The Tennessee Department of Transportation is looking at other states for ideas, like Georgia. Georgia uses a peach pass, and claims it has been effective in reducing traffic, but it comes at a cost. Bumper-to-bumper traffic on I-24 from Nashville to Murfreesboro, a nightmare.
Traffic, I mean, every day backed up, every day.
Something TDOT wants to avoid. So they're working on alternative lanes to make traffic go faster. It's called choice lanes, but you got to pay. That money would go back to private developers operating those lanes.
We're just way too early in the process to know what that
user fee will be.
TDOT is looking at other states like Georgia as a reference. So did we. In 4 different corridors of 2 interstates in Georgia for 2023, where drivers used the Peach Pass, the average toll fare was as little as 83 cents and as high as $4.17. Fred Clark came to TDOT's 3rd public input meeting to get more information.
What range are you comfortable with paying for?
$2 at the most. At the minimum, $0 would always be nice, but I mean, hey, 50 cents, you know.
What about problems with the Peach Pass? WSB-TV reported in February drivers paid extra because of delays in tolls showing on their accounts. The agency responsible, SRTA, told WSB-TV Peach Pass having too many customers is one reason for the delays.
There, of course, can be problems, but we are going to make sure as a state that we hire the right people, that we have oversight.
Additionally, we found from the SRTA that commute time with the Peach Pass improved anywhere from 4 miles per hour to 20 miles per hour. As a reminder, TDOT is still in the planning stage. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Fox 17 News has been tracking the progress of these choice lanes for weeks now since the legislature gave it the green light. You can see our previous reporting on the Fox Nashville YouTube channel.
We were threatened with a $1,500 fine should we continue to provide services.
Tonight, in the high cost of homelessness, a local charity group working to help the homeless at a Metro Park isn't sure how they will continue after Metro Park police demanded to see their permit. Members of Colby's Army were handing out water and hygiene products at Richland Park on Charlotte Avenue. If you're not familiar, this is Charlotte, just off of Interstate 24. This is Richland Park, right in front of the old Cone Adult Learning Center and right next to the area where the library is located. It's not far from the intersection of 46th Avenue and the Sylvan Park area. Fox 17 News' Kylie Walker now with more on what is sparking concern.
Colby's Army has been handing out supplies to the homeless for more than a decade now, and they say that they've never been asked to have a permit. The group now faces criticism, though, from West Nashville residents who say that the outreach brings more crowds and trash.
Since 2010, Colby's Army has made it their mission to service those living on the street. Volunteers handed out food, water, and toiletries this week at Richland Park, offering relief to those battling the heat.
If we can't do that, we're going to have some really ill people, and we may have some deaths.
Lisa Wysocki with Colby's Army was shocked when Metro Parks police asked if they had a permit.
We want to be in compliance, but we didn't know that a permit was necessary. We reached out to about 8 or 9 other outreach providers. They didn't know that a permit was needed. They don't have a permit.
Metro Park says while they support outreach, they also consider families and children who use the park, citing numerous complaints from neighbors.
I'm actually kind of surprised that they haven't had to do this already.
Community advocate Rebecca Lowe says the nonprofit should be held to the same standard that vendors are held to.
They should be held to the same standard a food truck would be held to if they operated in one of our parks.
Lowe says requiring a permit also helps with accountability when large crowds come in and leave trash behind.
I think the concern for us has always been that they delivered literally tons, thousands and thousands of pounds of items, but they were never held accountable for retrieving those items when they were abandoned or used up.
But since a permit could take days or weeks to obtain, Wysocki wants a quicker and clearer process. She says the Metro Parks website lacks a specific category for outreach permits.
There's not a permit that's really applicable to street outreach.
Since it was unclear, we asked Metro Parks where this falls, and they say the special events category.
Now, Wysocki tells me she does not believe that their outreach should be considered a special event, as this is a daily concerted effort to get people housed and serviced. Now, the park board will meet next week to discuss the Richland Park permit. For now, reporting in West Nashville, Kylie Walker, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Tonight, the Fox 17 viewer poll asks if you think volunteer groups handing out water and working to help the homeless should need to have a permit. 317 votes, 89% don't like that idea. The poll's live right now. Scan the QR code on the screen and you can weigh in, and we'll update these numbers for you tonight on Fox 17 News at 10.
Was hot this afternoon. We reached 101 degrees, and if we hit 100 for tomorrow, that'll be 3 days at or above 100 degrees. First time that has happened in 12 years. Since 2012, we've had a 100-degree day here and there over the past couple of years, but not 3 in a row, and that'll be possible for tomorrow. I do expect us to reach 100. In fact, forecasting 101, so the heat continues. Live look on Broadway here. Things fairly quiet for Wednesday evening. We're still in those 90s, 92 at the moment, under a mainly clear sky. A couple clouds around for tonight. I would expect more cloud cover to build as we head through the day on Thursday. This area of high pressure is finally starting to slip east, and that is going to signal the beginning of change for this weekend, bringing us cooler weather and a little bit of rainy weather too. Overnight lows stay quite warm in those mid to upper 70s here in town, a little cooler outside of city centers. We will walk you through the best chances for rain, which is on the way. You can expect it in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast. Scott.
Katie, thank you. Mid-State Prince. Tonight, Fox 17 News continues to investigate a Williamson County principal who resigned after refusing to meet with parents of a special needs child because they brought an advocate. The parents say that's illegal. Well, now that principal is working for the State Department of Education. As Fox 17 News' Amanda Chen reports, some families are concerned.
More than 200 families have made their frustrations known by signing this petition calling for this educator's resignation. While some parents were hesitant to speak at first, they feel they have no other option but to make their voices heard.
11-year-old Tess Carter relies on having an individualized education plan so she can get the best education possible. With that comes regular meetings with school leaders, families, and sometimes advocates. But for her family, one of those meetings denied by the former principal of Bethesda Elementary, Dr. Kari Miller in Williamson County, because the family brought an advocate. Fox 17 first reported the conflict, including this recording by parents of that attempt to meet back in May.
What is the real reason that you don't?
It's that I feel better having someone from central office, from Student Support Services here to kind of keep their eye on things.
Keep their eye on what? We're her parents. So do you have the power to meet with us right now?
I've been told everything I've always been told.
No, it's yes or no. Do you have the power to meet with us right now? It's yes or no. Like, do you or don't you?
I guess no.
You guess no?
I don't know if it's a yes or no answer.
The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act states here in Section 300.321 that parents may bring other individuals who have knowledge or special expertise regarding the child to a special education meeting. Dr. Miller has since resigned. A spokesperson for the Tennessee Department of Education confirms Dr. Miller is now the senior manager of the Individualized Education Account Program, also known as an IEA. Essentially, this program provides funding to families of eligible students with disabilities to enroll in a private school or homeschool. Katie Beal's first grader and kindergartner are in the IEA program. So far, she hasn't had the best experience with Dr. Miller when trying to determine why her family received funding that she believes was too low.
I asked for their calculations. I said, how did you get to this number? Because this is wildly different than what I calculated. And I got no transparency whatsoever. It was actually really disappointing.
Beal is now also concerned Dr. Miller has this new role working with special education families, considering her past. After hearing from parents, Beal started this online petition.
She failed at the local level, and now she was promoted to overseeing a program that serves those students on a statewide level.
Those same concerns are echoed by Noelle Roeder, whose children now attend an out-of-zone school because of the family's experience with Dr. Miller at Bethesda.
We had a huge loss in our family, and my husband and I requested STAR counselors for our kids, which is provided by the state. It's normal. And she denied us services, saying that the counselors at the school could handle it.
Roeder is also a teacher and subbed at Bethesda. And she claims
she ran out several teachers last year. They all did the first year with her, and everybody realized how bad it was. And so several of them left at the end of last year. and the year before.
Overall, this mother also fears for students across the state.
As an educator, I feel like it's so important that we support students. And what she's done is not supporting students, and what she's doing now is not supporting students and what they need.
I reached out to the Tennessee Department of Education to ask about the growing concerns from families in the state. I also asked what the hiring process is for this type of position. After giving the department more than a week to respond through 4 emails, we are still waiting for a response.
We also reached out directly to Dr. Kari Miller to give her an opportunity to respond. We have not heard back. Reporting in the studio, I'm Amanda Chin, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Another hot day on tap for Thursday with temperatures right around 100 degrees. Again, we'll be looking at storm chances to go up, very small for Thursday, more so for Friday and Saturday. Along with it, eventually the humidity is going to catch up to us as well. Up until this point, it has been hot out there, but the humidity has been, we'll call it tolerable. It hasn't been in that oppressive category. I do see, though, finally things cooling down as we head towards the weekend and especially into next week. Temperature here for Thursday around 90 at 10 o'clock in the morning. We will be flirting with 100 by 2 with mainly sunny skies, and we'll maintain a mainly sunny to partly cloudy sky as we go through the afternoon. Our temperature right around 98 at 5. As we get into the weekend, we will see some change moving in, and this is going to be how it happens along 2 fronts. In fact, the first one coming through on Saturday will offer us a chance for showers and thunderstorms. The secondary front will come through on Monday. We'll have a few showers and storms along with it, but more cooler air will be the story there, with temperatures dropping back into those 80s as we head into Labor Day. So we take a look at least tomorrow and Friday as far as rain chances are concerned. The better chance for showers look to be a little south here, south of 40, and it'll be a spot shower at best. As we get into Friday morning, things start off nice and quiet. The better chance of showers begins to pop up as we head towards the afternoon and into the early evening hours. I've stopped this right around kickoff time for a lot of high school football matchups. And again, notice that there's a lot of dry real estate, but there are a few areas, potentially even downtown Nashville area or metro area, that could find a stray thunderstorm. So just be mindful of that. But I'd say it's promising that you'll get in the games okay for Friday night. Into Saturday morning, we'll start off with a couple clouds around. We've got more rain on the way for Saturday. We'll walk you through that rain threat coming up a little later in your Fox 17 Code Red forecast.
What's behind Kamala Harris's pivot on immigration?
Tonight, new questions about Vice President Kamala Harris's plans for the crisis along the southern border. Fox 17 News' Christine Frizzell takes a closer look at that, and you can let us know what you think by scanning the QR code that will appear on your screen during our story.
Vice President Kamala Harris out on the campaign trail, powered by momentum and a modified message.
As president, I will bring back the bipartisan border security bill that he killed, and I will sign it into law.
That bipartisan border bill includes $650 million to build new and fix existing portions of the border wall, a wall featured prominently in a recent campaign ad.
Fixing the border is tough. So is Kamala Harris.
It's a stance that's changed drastically since she ran for president the last time, when in a post on Facebook she called Trump's border wall a complete waste of taxpayer money that won't make us any safer.
This administration has decided to vilify them and to trade on them for the sake of this president's medieval vanity project called a wall.
Her opponent and his supporters assert she had no role in negotiating the border bill and accuse her of lying about her position to try to win more votes.
Do you really believe she's going to build a wall? That's just bull. She's had 4 years to build a wall and she's done nothing. For the last 4 years, they've turned every Trump policy upside down that prevented illegal immigration, and we're being overrun with 10 million people.
Warnings about those large numbers of people now in the country have been mounting from top intelligence officials.
I've never seen a time where all the threats, or so many of the threats, are all elevated all at exactly the same time.
Those new threats, along with shifts in voter sentiment, could be reasons for the pivot.
We can be a nation of immigrants who love their country
and a nation with a secure border.
The Harris campaign insists while the bipartisan border legislation was tough, it was also broad and included things like better technology to catch drug smugglers. Her campaign website so far is mostly absent of any official policy positions. In Washington, I'm Christine Frizzau.
Now, during this story, we had a QR code linking you with our poll asking if you think Vice President Kamala Harris changed her position on the border for political advantage. 1,178 people weighing in, 89% say yes, we think that's what happened. Our thanks tonight for all who voted. Stuck in space, what a colleague and friend of local astronaut. Tonight, a mid-state astronaut remains on the International Space Station after NASA determines the vehicle to bring him and his partner in space home isn't safe. This delay has been going on for months now, and the latest word is that Commander Butch Wilmore, who grew up in Mount Juliet, will be in space until at least February. Joining us now with more on Butch Wilmore is Tennessee Tech University's president, Dr. Phil Oldham. Butch Wilmore graduated from Tech and serves as a member of the Board of Trustees. Dr. Oldham, thanks for doing this. I know you've been following this story as close as anybody. I imagine a lot of folks on campus were watching closely and have to be at least somewhat concerned about Butch Wilmore's safety on this extended mission.
Oh, absolutely. Everybody loves, well, we call him Barry. Barry's his name. Butch is his call sign for as a Navy pilot, but so everybody at NASA calls him Butch. Everybody here calls him Barry, but no, everybody's pulling for Barry, and of course his colleague Sonny, wishing them a safe return. And it's an interesting set of circumstances, but I can tell you Barry is built for this kind of challenge, and nobody better to do it. So he's in good spirits, I know.
Now, I understand you and some members of the Tennessee Tech family, extended family if you would, actually got to speak with him from space. What can you share about that conversation?
Yes, in fact, interestingly enough, I talked to him today on the phone just a few hours ago, and he's in great spirits. He said, look, this is part of what we do, and Barry's a man of tremendous personal faith, and he attributes everything that he has in front of him to God, and he gives him the credit for it, and he leans into it and works the problem.
Well, good man to have with that attitude. The plan, just so people understand, originally was for an 8-day mission. Now it's turned into at least 8 months. It's not a record or anything, but from what you said about your most recent conversation, he really is viewing this in the best of possible lights.
Yes, he is. It's a challenge. It's no question about it. Most of us would find this to be very daunting, but Barry's had such an incredible career and has been challenged in so many ways throughout his life that this is just one more. And like I said, I think there's nobody better situated to handle something like this than Barry Wilmore. We're so proud of him. He's got a great family, great support system around him. And he'll come through this fine, but he's in good spirits, and it's interesting to talk to him while he's traveling around the world at 17,000 miles an hour.
Well, we're proud of him all over Middle Tennessee, and great that we got to actually speak with you today after having spoken with him. Tennessee Tech President Dr. Phil Oldham, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Wings up.
The dangerous heat wave this week causing some Middle Tennessee school districts to make some adjustments in the name of safety, and it's certainly understandable. Putting on pads and having football players run on the field in the heat of the day like they normally do after school could be dangerous, so some schools are moving their football practice to the early morning hours before school starts.
We're just trying to evaluate how best we can get our kids out here and practice. And, luckily when we started, it was about 79, 80 degrees. We got a full hour and a half worth of practice, and now the kids are off to school.
Now, Wilson County schools tell us they are also cutting recess short when the heat becomes a problem. New tonight at Cheatham County High School will have counselors on hand tomorrow following the death of a young athlete. Sycamore High School administrators tell us the teen died yesterday while jogging near his home. Investigators are now working to determine the cause of death.
And again, important if you are doing exercises, they said moving those times for football practice on the field from morning to night. Good to be in the morning hours here. This gives you an idea of the difference in time frame from 7 to 9 a.m. working with temperatures in the mid to upper 70s to low 80s compared to what we see in the early evening hours, upper 90s. So a huge difference between morning practices and evening practices with the heat that we have around here. Once again, we do have an air quality alert in effect for tomorrow, and it will be for the greater Nashville area. Unhealthy for sensitive groups. What that means, we're looking at an AQI or the air quality index at 101. So we're in that slightly unhealthy range. Anything above 100 is considered unhealthy. What does it mean? Well, they gain all of these particulates here, major pollutants. These are the ones listed, and this is what makes up that 101 or that air quality index. Again, this is going to be for unhealthy for sensitive groups. The general public is mainly okay, but just something to keep in mind. Well, it has been, of course, a couple of hot days for sure, and something we really do need, it's rainfall. We just haven't seen it. To talk more on how much we really could use some rain, here's meteorologist Brett Luna.
Well, it's been a dry summer. In fact, the 14th driest summer on record for us here in Nashville. So far this summer, we've only picked up a little under 6.5 inches of rain, and August has been exceptionally dry. With conditions this dry, here's what can happen with a fire that gets out of hand. This video is from the Murray County Fire Department. Yesterday afternoon, the fire department was fighting a large brush fire. Responding units could see the large column of smoke en route. Firefighters held this fire until the fire line was completed. About 15 acres burned. These pictures right here are from just outside of our viewing area. This is over in Hardin County. Firefighters there have responded to several different grass and woods fires. Most of these fires were caused by careless burning. Other departments have temporarily stopped issuing burn permits. The City of Gallatin Fire Department said it'll not issue any burn permits until there's a significant amount of rain. Metro Water Services is also asking customers to stagger their irrigation. On Monday, Metro Water Services' peak demand was 148 million gallons. That's just 3 million gallons shy of the record set back in the 2007 drought.
Brett, thank you. After a competitive Titans training camp, the team trimming the roster to 53 this week, making some tough decisions in the process. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick now with more on those cuts, including who the team made sure to leave room for.
Roster cuts are never easy for an NFL head coach, but especially if it's your first year at the helm. Head coach Brian Callahan and general manager Rand Carthon trimmed the roster down to 53 on Tuesday and had to make tough decisions. They described the process as both collaborative and also difficult. Collaborative because they leaned on each other throughout the whole process and also listened to their staff when it came to evaluations and opinions on players. But they also described the process as difficult because they developed relationships with these players throughout the last 6 months. Callahan and Carthon also sat together to deliver the good news to the players that did make the 53-man roster, and they said they specifically saved that part for the end of the day so they could finish on a positive note.
Picked a few guys to tell that that they had made the 53, and that helps bring you out of the fog of and the downness of telling all those other guys they didn't. So it was a good pick-me-up at the end of the day. It was a long day, but it was fun to see those guys' reactions to knowing that they had fulfilled the dream of theirs and make an NFL football team.
Just because the Titans made their first round of cuts doesn't mean they're done making moves yet. The Titans acquired linebacker Ernest Jones IV from the Los Angeles Rams, who will immediately add depth and experience to a linebacker room that has been impacted by injuries during the preseason.
I'm just super excited about this defense, man. I love hard-nosed, I'm kind of old school linebacker, so I love when defenses win football games, and I feel like we'll do that here.
We looked into it and, did our research and watched the film. A bunch of us in the room, our coaches watched him and thought that he was a young player that could help us.
Now that the Titans preseason slate is all wrapped up, the players will have the next couple days off to rest and recover. And then when they return next week, it's full speed ahead for game week as they prepare for the Chicago Bears in their season opener Sunday, September 8th. Reporting from the Titans practice facility, Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
Here is your chance to play our brand new trivia game. It's called Touchdown Trivia. Just use your smartphone to scan the QR code there on the right. Answer the question correctly and you're eligible to win a $100 prepaid debit card that we give away daily. And all of our daily winners are also eligible for a chance to win the national weekly $5,000 drawing. Just ahead, having the confidence to get involved. The groups locally pushing to remove limits on Tennessee's Good Samaritan law. And rising rent prices, why some say a piece of computer software is partly to blame.
And coming up, we'll talk more about the holiday forecast. Is coming up. We'll have the latest on rain chances, timing it out hour by hour.
North Carolina. Touchdown! Unbelievable! Minnesota. It's caught. Wow! The season kicks off in prime time.
Thursday at 6:30 on Fox 17.
Athletic success.
Everyone knew her as this great lacrosse kid.
Troubling suicide trend.
All of these deaths were preventable.
Spotlight on America investigates.
I've worked with other student athletes that have felt this way.
Why successful college athletes commit suicide.
Thursday on Fox 17 News at 9.
Picture this. It's perfect out, but you're staying in. Because with the right furniture, this is the perfect way to spend the day. At American Signature Furniture, you don't have to picture it. You can experience it.
Hi, Dad.
Hey, sweetheart.
What are you doing?
I'm gonna clean the fence.
It's a lot of fence.
You wanna help me? Aim up the wall, but get closer.
What the? All right.
Side to side.
When you work with someone who knows a lot and cares even more,
you can do this.
You're unstoppable.
I said you ain't seen nothing yet. Baby, just ain't seen nothing yet.
Are you kidding me? You can do this.
At Truist, we believe the same is true for banking.
During the Rooms to Go Kids Labor Day sale, give your kids the room they've been dreaming of at low back-to-school sale prices. Add a pop of color with upholstered beds on sale as low as $2.99. With bunk and loft beds on sale. Disney theme beds on sale. Bookcase beds on sale. Plus, so many colorful options on sale now. It's an incredible selection of quality kids furniture at low back-to-school sale prices. It's time to shop. The Rooms to Go Kids Labor Day sale is going on now.
Pilgrimage Festival is back September 28th and 29th with Dave Matthews Band, Noah Khan, Hosier, Need to Breathe, Steven Sanchez, Coin, Better Than Ezra, and many more. On sale now at pilgrimagefestival.com.
Picture this. It's Labor Day. Any plans? Maybe plan on getting that piece you love at a price you love, but only during our Labor Day sale going on now. At American Signature Furniture, you don't have to picture it. You can experience it.
Local storm alerts from local experts. Download the Fox 17 News Code Red weather app.
Continuing coverage now on Tennessee's Good Samaritan law. It allows people to call 911 for help when someone is overdosing without fear of the caller being arrested. But as Fox 17 News' Johnny Matthey explains, there are limits to that law, and one group wants to change that.
Advocacy groups are hoping to save lives with a new push to try to eliminate the fear of calling 911 in a life or death situation, in this case experiencing an overdose. Now, right off the state's website, Tennessee's Good Samaritan law states protection for a person who is good faith seeks medical assistance for a person experiencing or believed to be experiencing a drug overdose. Now, TADAS, T-A-D-A-S, or the Tennessee Association of Alcohol, Drugs, and Other Addiction Services, says there's a one-strike policy on the overdose call immunity. We caught up with the group's executive director, Mary Lyndon Salter, who says Davidson County does not prosecute even after one strike, which can be a model for the state to follow.
We do think that there's opportunities here to make sure that people, that we can change that law so that all 911 calls, in those circumstances would be free from any prosecution, and people would feel safe calling so that we could save more lives.
And Salter adds that she hopes to form a coalition before the next session starts with some similar groups to hers in hopes of making this change. Outside the Capitol, Johnny Matthey, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
New tonight, the state of Tennessee joining a U.S. Justice Department lawsuit against a big software company. As Fox 17 News' Peyton Hughes shows us, the lawsuit accuses the company of essentially making it easier for landlords to raise prices.
The lawsuit claims RealPage violated antitrust laws through its algorithms, and those algorithms actually gives landlords recommended rental rates.
Nashville is in the middle of a population boom, and thanks to demand, we're seeing rising rent costs. Tennessee's Attorney General says the software company RealPage allows landlords to cut competition by helping them work together to set similar prices.
By knowing what the other folks are doing in their industry, by knowing not just price information but supply information, they are able to avoid competition. And what that does is drives the price up.
Jeff Checco has been in the real estate business for more than 2 decades. Checco says this platform is not setting the price. It's helping landlords make informed decisions by giving them data.
They're just simply saying, hey, we have this technology at our disposal, and we're going to allow you to use it to decide what you want to do with your property. And so what's wrong with that?
We reached out to RealPage but have not heard back, so we pulled up a statement on its website. RealPage says in part the claims are false and misleading, and the software contributes to a healthier and more efficient rent housing ecosystem. The Attorney General says this lawsuit has a long way to go, and we'll be sure to keep you up to speed on this. In studio, Peyton Hughes, Fox 17 News, your Red Station.
It has been a hot summer so far. Again, looking at one more day at or above 100 for Thursday. Thought we would get a count here on our days. 90-degree days, we've had 58 at 90 or above. The average is 57. Now, this 57 average is just a 30-year average where we look back at all of Nashville's climate. 49 is the average. So that average has gone up quite a bit in just a 30-year span here, looking back between now and 30 years ago. 58 days is what we have. So we're now just above average as far as 90-degree days go. In 2024, though, 95-degree days, we've had 32 of those, and the average over 30 years is 15. So we have doubled our 95-degree days here for 2024, and you put that together, 55% of all days 90 and above have been above 95. So that again just kind of hits home on how hot this summer has been. And of course, we added a third 100-degree day today. Just over the span of several decades here, from 1970 to 2023, we are seeing more extremely hot days here in Nashville. This is looking at our extreme days or temperatures here in this graphs every single year, but you can easily see that trend climbing considerably where we're looking at 24 more days above 92 per summer. So again, case in point, a very hot couple of days expected for us here. The good news is as we get towards the weekend, we are going to be looking at a cool down to come our way. The average for this time of year is about 89 and dropping. So we have reached the peak of our average for the year and we are starting to fall. But we take a look here. Saturday, we'll look at a chance for showers and storms, and we'll continue through Sunday and a few possible for Labor Day as well. So walking you through the Saturday rain forecast, you can see that we may end up with a stray shower early. I think we have a better chance as we head into the afternoon. Here's 3 p.m. We'll have a front come through by Saturday afternoon and early evening hours. It may spark a few showers and thunderstorms for us here. I would say, though, that it's not a guarantee that you'll see rain, so keep that in mind when you're doing your planning for the outdoors. I wouldn't cancel your plans. Just make sure that you're aware that it is still, in fact, summertime, and we get those pop-up showers and storms around, which does look to be our pattern this weekend. With it comes some cooler weather. Notice those mid-80s making a comeback by Monday and Tuesday of next week.
Still to come tonight, coyotes.
Price match guarantee ensures you're getting the best deal. Only at Ashley.
This Fox 17 newscast is brought to you by Nissan.
College athletes' suicides.
Thursday on Fox 17 News at 9.
New tonight, citizen concerns over coyotes in the Donaldson area.
I've got a pack of coyotes in a neighborhood that's attacked several dogs, and one dog had to be put down. And so the constituent feels helpless.
That's Metro Councilman Jeff Gregg talking about how he, after that happened, phoned the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency only to find out there's nothing they can do. Residents in his area forced to pay private companies to come and trap the animals and take them away. In the meantime, Metro Council has agreed to have a larger conversation about wildlife issues. To try to keep coyotes out of your yard, the TWRA suggests eliminating water sources like a bird bath. They say don't leave trash cans outside overnight because that can attract them. Move bird feeders so the coyotes can't get to them. And they say don't leave the grill uncovered overnight if you have cooked on the grill. Still ahead tonight on Fox 17 News at 9, celebrating a mid-state hero, how U.S. Army veteran Earl West. In your community tonight, a special honor for a mid-state veteran who served his country in 2 different wars in 4 years' time. Perry County High School gym packed today with dignitaries paying tribute to 98-year-old Earl Westbrooks. He enlisted in the Army at 17. Just as he finished basic training and was bound for Europe, the peace treaty was signed.
They quit fighting in Germany, converted me, give me 8 more weeks basic training, and sent me to Korea. So I went to Korea and spent a little over 4 years in Korea.
98 and still sharp. 7th District Congressman Mark Green, also an Army veteran, shared the account of Westbrook's life and service that he has made a permanent part of the congressional record. Get this, country star Brad Paisley and his actress wife Kimberly Williams Paisley opening a second store to help locals who don't have enough to eat. Their new store will be inside the TriStar Centennial Medical Center. It is a free referral-based grocery store that has fresh produce, healthy meals, and pantry staples. The first store opened back in 2020 on the Belmont University campus.
House Republicans doing a victory lap for free speech after Mark Zuckerberg's letter to Congress this week. I'm Matt Gelka in Washington, and I'll have the story coming up.
This is Fox 17 News at 10, your Code Red station.
We begin tonight with continuing coverage on safety downtown. A new partnership could help to address some of the issues that we've seen involving overserved tourists on 2nd Avenue and Lower Broadway. The nonprofit Red Frogs is coming to Nashville full-time now, offering free water and a helping hand. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller's live downtown after speaking with city leaders about why this is so important.
Yes, Scott. Well, Red Frogs is calling this a chill station, and it will be located right behind me on the corner of 2nd Avenue and Broadway, right next to the Chiefs Bar, starting this Friday evening. Now, this is a station that you may have seen over the summer, as it was here for both the 4th of July and will be for every Friday night. Now, Red Frog's National Director Dan Terry says that they offer people water, an area to charge their phones, or they will have someone walk them to their car or the place that they're staying. Terry emphasizes that this stops things like sexual assaults or violence from happening to people who are alone or vulnerable.
I think 99% of the time, people that come to Nashville are going to have a great time. But, there is that 1% chance that something could go wrong. And we want to stop that 1% from happening.
Metro Councilman Jacob Coupin, who represents the downtown district, says that since it's a nonprofit, it will not cost taxpayers a penny. And he says it's already proven to be a success. Now, the Red Frog station, again, will be up and running starting this Friday evening right outside of the Chiefs Bar. And moving forward in the next several months, they hope to be out here more on weekends and for the larger events coming to Music City. Reporting live from downtown, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Continuing coverage tonight on Choice Lanes, a pilot state project designed to reduce congestion on Interstate 24 between Nashville and Murfreesboro. They would be built by private developers. Drivers would then, in turn, have to pay to use those special lanes. The question is, how much? Fox 17 News' Karen Aguilar live along Interstate 24 with how these lanes are working in a neighboring state.
Scott, Georgia might have the answer.
and they use a Peach Pass. Their state road and tollway authority says it's been successful in reducing traffic. People tell me that they've seen bumper to bumper traffic in I-24 and they are sick of it. So the Tennessee Department of Transportation wants to mimic Georgia and other states to reduce traffic from Nashville to Murfreesboro. But they will have to charge you so that private developers operating those lanes can get their money back, as you mentioned. In Georgia, a 2023 report by SRTA shows the average toll fare was as little as 83 cents and as high as $4.17 on different corridors of two interstates. But how much are people willing to pay? Listen.
$2 at the most. At the minimum, $0 would always be nice, but I mean, hey, 50 cents.
The state is still trying to come up with a number. A TDOT spokesperson tells me it is too early to tell as they are in the planning stage. She also tells me that they will hire the right people and will have oversight to avoid any potential problems. Reporting live in Nashville, Karen Aguilar, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
Now to the high cost of homelessness. A local nonprofit giving water and hygiene products to the homeless says its people were recently confronted by Metro Park police who wanted to see their permit. The Parks Department says that it's responding to complaints about Colby's Army. Now this happened at Richland Park over on the west side. Community advocate Rebecca Lowe supports the permit requirement. She says that outreach work like this draws crowds and often leaves a lot of trash behind. While Colby's Army says they will comply, they would like to see a faster and clearer permit process.
I think the concern for us has always been that they delivered literally tons, thousands and thousands of pounds of items, but they were never held accountable for retrieving those items when they were abandoned or used up.
We want to be in compliance, but we didn't know that a permit was necessary. We reached out to about 8 or 9 other outreach providers. They didn't know that a permit was needed. They don't have a permit.
Statement from Metro Park says, in part, while we are supportive of outreach efforts, we also have to be mindful of our many patrons, some of whom are families and children who also utilize park facilities. Earlier in the newscast, we told you about our poll asking if you think volunteer groups handing out water and other supplies to the homeless should have to have a permit. 364 votes, and the majority, 88.4%, disagree with the notion that they need a permit. Our thanks to all those who voted, and be sure to keep an eye out for a new poll on the Fox 17 X page tomorrow. Continuing coverage tonight as the state gives the green light to a new addiction treatment clinic in Putnam County. That permit approval comes in spite of some community pushback that includes the sheriff. Cedar Recovery releases a statement which reads in part, the approval of the certificate of need today is truly bittersweet because it's a win for those in need of treatment, but was difficult hearing from the opposition. As we have stated all along, we are committed to the community, and that isn't changing. Putnam County Sheriff Eddie Ferris calls the clinic a legal drug facility because it uses methadone, a drug often used in addiction treatment. In a statement that he sent us, he says, in part, just because we have lost the battle does not mean that we have lost the war. With or without a methadone clinic, he says, I will at all costs keep this community safe. Katie?
Got another 100-degree day, and we're expecting another one as we head into tomorrow. And still quite toasty even at 10 o'clock this evening here. Very warm afternoon, still not too humid, which has allowed our temperatures to slip quite a bit. In fact, sitting in the upper 80s right now compared to 101, which was the afternoon high for today. 82 in Dickson, and looking at the upper 70s at the moment out towards Cookeville. We will look at another quiet night. High pressure remains in control, and that's been keeping us pretty dry. This will begin to slide east, though, as we head into tomorrow, and the result will be a stray shower for those along and south of 40, with an even better chance for rain developing as we head towards the weekend. Temperatures overnight will drop another 10 degrees here in town, right around 78 for tomorrow morning. Clarksville around 73, with Murfreesboro right around 73 as well. We hit 101 this afternoon. We hit 100 on Tuesday, and 101 is the forecast for tomorrow. If we hit this, it'll be the first time since 2012 where we had 3 100-degree days in a row. So it'll be interesting to see if we do hit 100 or higher for tomorrow. We'll talk more about the cool down that's on the way, along with the rain chances that are on the rise. That's all coming up.
Katie, thank you. Get this. Music legend Dolly Parton is expanding her children's book giveaway program called the Imagination Library. The goal, of course, to instill a love of reading in students by giving them a free book every month from the time they're born till age 5. Now, this started in Tennessee back in the 1990s. It has since expanded internationally. The program now, though, is expanding to our neighbor just to the north. So it's going to be up in Kentucky and also in the Show Me state, which also borders Tennessee. So Missouri is getting this program as well. Since its creation, the In election 2024, hitting the campaign trail, Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump's running mate doing what he can to attract voters in key battleground states. Ohio Senator J.D. Vance made some stops in Pennsylvania and Wisconsin tonight on the stump. Now, not only did he tout Mr. Trump's economic policy, he also hit hard on immigration.
Donald Trump has got a different message to the 25 million people who are here in this country illegally. Pack your bags. You're going home in 6 months.
Former President Trump is set to campaign in battleground Michigan tomorrow. Now, on the Democratic side, Vice President Harris turning her attention to the state of Georgia, which is also being fought very hard for. She and her running mate, Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz, stopping by a high school. They are on a 2-day bus tour. They offered the students they spoke with today some words of encouragement.
But you know, you never let any circumstance knock you down or slow you down. You just keep going at it. That's who you are. And that's why we are so confident in everything that you are doing and will continue to do for our country.
This tour wound up at a popular barbecue restaurant in Savannah, where Harris and Walz spent some time talking with both workers and diners.
House Republicans doing a victory lap for free speech after Mark Zuckerberg's letter to Congress.
Well, more job cuts in big tech. Apple has eliminated about 100 jobs across its digital services group. Most of the layoffs affect the team that runs the Apple Books app and Apple Bookstore. The remaining cuts were made to some engineering roles and services like Apple News. And private equity firms have always been banned from having ownership in an NFL team until now. The league's owners passing a new policy that will allow them to sell up to 10% of their team to big money investors. There are some rules around the potential deals, but it signals a big shift for the most lucrative league in sports.
For these owners, they want liquidity, not only for their families and their succession plans, but also to reinvest in certain projects surrounding football, like their stadiums.
If approved, the investment groups will have no governance rights. Think having a silent partner. And things like transportation costs covered, free phones, free lunches, and good health insurance are just some of the perks younger workers are focused on. A survey of more than 27,000 Gen Z workers in Australia shows 39% would not take a job if it didn't provide the benefits they want.
It's interesting, if you're a company and can get away with spending less money but making people feel good, everyone, I guess, potentially wins.
One Gen Zer said the benefits offered indicate how a company feels about its workers. Many believe perks mean you're valued by your employer. Kelly O'Grady, Fox Business.
Continuing coverage tonight as we learn more about the fallout from Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg's letter to Congress, in which he talks about censorship pressure being applied by the White House. As Fox 17 News' Matt Galko reports, House Republicans see this as a win for the First Amendment.
We think we've had a huge impact, which, again, our focus, though, is protecting the First Amendment. That's what we've been focused on all along.
Ohio Republican and House Judiciary Committee Chairman Jim Jordan took a victory lap after Meta CEO Mark Zuckerberg's letter admitting there was pressure from the Biden administration to censor content. Much of the letter revolved around COVID-19 posts on Facebook and a warning from the FBI about Russian disinformation leading up to the 2020 election. That warning caused a Hunter Biden laptop story to be temporarily demoted. Let me ask you this. Do you trust Facebook today?
I feel a lot better about where we're at based on the work we've done. We've got to stay on top of this because we're talking about those fundamental liberties, fundamental privileges we enjoy as Americans.
Zuckerberg admitted in the letter that Meta ultimately made the decisions on what posts got taken down, but that the pressure was wrong, and in hindsight, they'd make different decisions today. Tech media personality Kara Swisher blasted the Meta CEO's letter.
He also certainly had enough power to push back and say something publicly at the time. I think, he can have regrets, but they're his regrets, his business decision regrets. And to use the term pressure is just currying favor with Jim Jordan.
More fallout. Former New York Times journalist Alex Berenson told Fox News Zuckerberg's letter will impact his lawsuit against the Biden administration. Berenson sued the administration along with Pfizer higher-ups for First Amendment violations after he was banned from Twitter in 2021 for posting about COVID vaccine skepticism. Another part of Zuckerberg's letter also addressed donations. His philanthropy donated to voting rights groups in 2020. Republicans repeatedly criticized the donations, and he won't be making them again, telling lawmakers in his letter he wants to remain neutral and not appear to be playing a role in influencing the election outcome. Reporting in Washington, I'm Matt Gelka.
The high school football season is officially here, and this time the frenzy is starting before kickoff. Fox 17's Football Frenzy Live starts at 6:30 every Friday night and will get you ready for all the biggest matchups in the mid-state. Our pregame show will be live at our game of the week every Friday night of the high school football regular season. From coach and player interviews to Friday night forecasts and fantastic fans, we have you covered in Nashville's only 30-minute high school football show. So join us every Friday night at 6:30 for Football Frenzy Live.
And to play our new touchdown trivia game, use your cell phone right now, the camera on it, to scan the QR code on the right-hand side of your screen. It will take you to our question of the day. If you answer that correctly, you qualify to win a $100 prepaid debit card every day. Daily prize winners also are eligible to win the $5,000 National Weekly Drawing.
Well, as we take a look at tomorrow here, I mentioned that we will see the potential for 100 degrees. In fact, the forecast is 101. The record is 100. So tomorrow could be the first day that we break a record this week, despite the fact that we've had 2 days already at 100 degrees. But we'll find that record at 100 in jeopardy for tomorrow. I do think we'll hit at least 100 for the afternoon. As we take a look, temperatures here will be around 90 at 10 o'clock in the morning, up to about 99 as we head towards 2, and keeping skies mainly sunny to partly cloudy for the day, with those highs in the upper 90s for much of the afternoon. Then the big change comes in the form of 2 fronts. We will have one front come through on Saturday. This one will aid in some showers and thunderstorms for us, keeping pop-up showers and storms around. And then a secondary front expected to come through on Monday. This is going to help clear things out. It's also going to help cool us down as we head through Monday. So we take you through tomorrow morning. Tomorrow there is a stray shower chance. I think that is best for those along and south of I-40 in the form of just a stray heavy downpour, and then it will move on. Other than that, we stay mainly clear all the way through Friday morning, and notice as we head towards Friday afternoon, that's when we'll start to see a little bit better chance of rain develop. These again remain non-severe, but will drop a quick heavy pocket of rain, even possible for the beginning of Friday night football around kickoff time. So again, it's promising. I think most of the game should be just fine, but we will have a couple areas that pick up some rainfall through Friday evening and into early Saturday morning. We'll start the morning mainly quiet on Saturday, but we can expect more showers and thunderstorms as we head towards the afternoon. 101 for tomorrow here in Music City. We're at 100 in Lebanon, Murfreesboro 98, Clarksville sitting at 99, Dickson sitting around 100 degrees as well. We take a look at your 7-day forecast. There are some changes on the way here. Again, mentioning that cool down that'll be around. Showers and storms as temperatures begin to fall through the holiday weekend. Labor Day on Monday looking to be in those mid-80s, and notice as we head into next week, not too bad. Keep in mind our average this time of year is around 88, 89 degrees, so we'll be more on par with average as we head into the first few days of September.
Weather Window, presented by the National Weather Desk.
Several fog bows were spotted along the South Carolina coast this morning. Because water droplets that cause fog are so small, the colors in the bow are weak. A thin red band on the outside is usually the most prominent color. And check out sunrise yesterday morning at Joint Base Lewis McChord in Washington State. You can clearly see Mount Rainier's shadow on the clouds.
For more content like
After a competitive summer training camp, the Tennessee Titans trimmed their roster this week to 53. Fox 17 Sports Director Jill Jelnick now with more on those cuts, including who the team made sure to leave room for.
Roster cuts are never easy for an NFL head coach, but especially if it's your first year at the helm. Head coach Brian Callahan and general manager Rand Carthon trimmed the roster down to 53 on Tuesday and had to make tough decisions. They described the process as both collaborative and also difficult. Collaborative because they leaned on each other throughout the whole process and also listened to their staff when it came to evaluations and opinions on players. But they also described the process as difficult because they developed relationships with these players throughout the last 6 months. Callahan and Carthon also sat together to deliver the good news to the players that did make the 53-man roster, and they said they specifically saved that part for the end of the day so they could finish on a positive note.
Picked a few guys to tell that that they had made the 53, and that helps bring you out of the fog of and the downness of telling all those other guys they didn't. So it was a good pick-me-up at the end of the day. It was a long day, but it was fun to see those guys' reactions to knowing that they had fulfilled the dream of theirs and make an NFL football team.
Just because the Titans made their first round of cuts doesn't mean they're done making moves yet. The Titans acquired linebacker Ernest Jones IV from the Los Angeles Rams, who will immediately add depth and experience to a linebacker room that has been impacted by injuries during the preseason.
I'm just super excited about this defense, man. I love hard-nosed, I'm kind of old school linebacker, so I love when defenses win football games, and I feel like we'll do that here.
We looked into it and, did our research and watched the film. A bunch of us in the room, our coaches watched him and thought that he was a young player that could help us.
Now that the Titans' preseason slate is all wrapped up, the players will have the next couple days off to rest and recover. And then when they return next week, it's full speed ahead for game week as they prepare for the Chicago Bears in their season opener Sunday, September 8th. Reporting from the Titans practice facility, Jill Jelnick, Fox 17 Sports, your Code Red station.
It is a complication from a virus transmitted by mosquitoes. I'm Liz Bonus, but we all need to know to protect against it. It is just ahead.
Hey there, I'm Jennifer Waddell from Fox 17 News this morning. The TSA says the number of people who flew this summer is record-breaking, and they're getting ready to screen even more people coming up this Labor Day weekend. We'll tell you when that holiday travel is expected to peak coming up Thursday morning on Fox 17 News.
In health news, public health experts warning tonight against another mosquito-borne illness after the first human dies from it this week. Fox 17 medical reporter Liz Bonus breaking down the research on what's being done to protect against what's called triple E.
Hey there, hello to you. Triple E is a complication from a virus transmitted by mosquitoes. It stands for Eastern Equine Encephalitis, and researchers are now working on a vaccine to work against at least one type of this virus. The hope is that there may be some crossover to prevent this mosquito-borne illness, triple E as it's known, from this vaccine trial. Dr. Matt Wenker is the regional medical director where the trial is being conducted here at Ohio's Velocity Clinical Research.
We're doing a Venezuela equine encephalitis study right now, only site in the world doing this study.
The Venezuela virus is different from the Eastern virus because of where the mosquitoes are that carry it.
Different viruses, but all similar.
But the hope is that what works against one, Dr. Wenker told me, might work against others too.
We're not looking for efficacy, we're not looking to see if it prevents Venezuelan equine encephalitis, because obviously we don't have that here in this region, but we check to see if it creates an immune response, in the bloodstream.
In the meantime, until we have a vaccine,
what we really are looking for is people to take precautions, stay inside when your peak biting times, morning, evening. If the mosquitoes are persistent, use insect repellent if you're going to be outside. Also light colored clothing. Ensure that the screens in your home are secured and also doors and windows are shut so mosquitoes can't enter your home.
CDC says your best bet until we have a way to prevent it is to reduce mosquito bite risk. About 1 in 3 who get this will die from it, and many survivors have ongoing neurological problems. With your health news, I'm Liz Bonus reporting.
Liz, thank you. Going to be a hot start and maybe another record tomorrow?
Could be a record high for tomorrow if we hit 101. The record is 100.
Which we did today.
We hit 10. We were one shy of the record.
Okay, so we were.
Yes.
But we got to 101 today.
We did, and we are looking at things to cool down a little bit as we head towards the weekend. Storm chances are going up, and that's going to be a big